Roads? Where we're going, we don't need any roads. So today's episode,
Hi!
Scott's not here anymore. Well, he's coming back right now, so he'll be back shortly. But yeah, Scott's on his way back from the photo walk, so we are going to be talking about some emerging technologies in photography. So we are going to talk about VR, 360, some other topics.
Eric and I are very excited about VR. We learned this recently, that we're both really jazzed about
really
it.
into it. So it's really cool. But yeah, before we get too far into the topic today, we did want to recap the photo walk happened this weekend, which was big news. You know, we had all those photographers. There's over 20,000 photographers around the world in 1,000 cities, all walking on the same day. And it was a really awesome event. I don't know if anybody, you know, if you went, if you're using the hashtag WWPW17 or the hashtag WWPW2017, we're picking up all your pictures. So just, you know, use that hashtag, get over there, post some stuff from this weekend. But one thing I wanted to remind everybody about is the photo walk's not over. Now we're starting the contest. So now's when you can actually enter the contest. So that, I just wanted to show everybody real quick how you do that. It's real simple. You go and you log into your account. So I'm logged into my account. I went to a walk this weekend in Orlando with Mark and Hilmar. It was ridiculously hot.
Aww.
My daughter was really into it for like a couple hours. She was really cool about it. And then we had to get out of it. We had to get in the AC.
Yeah.
And then right as it's starting to get like really good light and all that stuff, these thunderstorms just ripped right through. So
I think Mark and Hilmar are cursed with the rain. Every year that they do a walk, they're going to get rain.
But I mean, sometimes it makes for good, but this was like, it didn't let up. So it was just one of those rains. But my daughter actually, it was really cool. She got a lot of good shots. I actually spent most of my time just helping her out, which was really cool. I mean, I don't get to do that much because we're usually just running around. So it was cool to take the time, you know, to do that.
Is she going to enter any of her photos?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't think technically with the rules that she can win.
Oh, you're right.
But
you're right.
yeah,
she's
no,
a little
actually,
too affiliated, I think.
Let's think. Here's some of her photos I could show you.
Yeah, let's see.
She really liked this one. This one was really cool. So.
And that's at the Animal Kingdom?
That's it. So we were at Animal Kingdom. So that was like, she found this. She like framed it up, and it kind of doesn't look like you're at the theme park.
Yeah, no.
She was, you know, doing shots of signs. She found this, which is like, she's at that level, so it was really cool. You know, found like shots like that.
Very creative.
You know, that was in Avatar Land because it was kind of like, what is that? It's kind of weird. And then she loved like the animals framed up with the trees.
That's
so
great.
She got some good shots.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
did
it was
great.
Cool. Yeah.
And see, that's wonderful. And she's 7, right?
7, yeah.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, she's getting really good. So I'm really proud of her. So, but yeah, so back to the contest. So to enter, if my daughter was eligible, or if I was eligible, you would log in, and up at the top here, you see that I'm logged in. Let me quickly log out just to show you. You go up here to Photo Walk, log in. And then I am going to log in with my account that I used to, not my administrator account, my other account. And then I would go to my walk, and there's my walk. I was at the Animal Kingdom walk. Just go down here to contest. I would choose my file to upload. I'd find a file. I'd find the file. I'd upload it. And then if I was a youth, so if I was her, and I was eligible, I would also click this button that says, I confirm that I'm 16 years old or younger. That will enter you in the youth contest as well. And then you submit it, you upload the image, and then your walker picks the best image. They all get submitted to us. Then Scott and the team here, we get together with a group of people. We pick Scott picks the best image. And then we also have afterwards a People's Choice Award. So that's something where everybody votes. So that's something coming at the end of this month that everybody can vote. But that's it. That's, you know, that's what you do, you know. So. And
I think I heard that you are on the group of people that actually chooses the winner. Is that right?
I don't know.
Because this is a great opportunity for anybody watching to like email this guy or send gifts or something. I don't know.
But you know, the other thing, big thing, the photo walk is the donations to the orphanage.
Definitely.
So,
and Piotr just wrote in and he said, Jen and Eric, please remind viewers that the walkers can still donate to Springs of Hope.
Yeah, so we're at 16,000, which is what we were at 12. We're up to 16. I mean, we're getting close to our goal. Goal's 25. We still have the T-shirt sale, so you could still buy a T-shirt. The profits from the T-shirts all go to the orphanage as well. So we're getting close. We still need a little bit more, and this is open through the end of the contest period. So through the contest period, this will be open. And yeah, you can go right there, donate. It's cool if you share it on Facebook. That's really cool because then other people get to know about it. What's really kind of interesting about the orphanage is we were working with them, and I think we talked about this shortly last week, that they're kind of do that sustainability thing where they've got like a group that's like growing their own food, and then they have a group that's making bags, handbags to sell to the community, and then they have an ecotourism place that they developed over there for people, foreigners to come over and stay and be immersed in the culture. So they actually have here, they have rewards. So if you donate at certain levels, they'll actually send you a bag or a picture, or plant a seed, in the garden and stuff like that. So that's cool that you kind of get those. You get back something even though you give.
Yeah, and it comes straight from the people you're helping.
Yeah, and that's really a big thing with them is that they want to give and receive. They want to be able to give back, and that's that whole sustainability growth thing. So
that's
really
fantastic.
Cool, really cool. So that's the photo walk. That's where we're at. And yeah, it looks like Cheeky Nando's here.
Hey, Fernando.
Yeah, and that's where Scott's on his way back from. He was over in Lisbon, so.
He says, hello, Jen and Eric. Cheeky Nando in Lisbon is missing my KelbyOne friends.
Yeah.
Definitely. You guys look like you had an amazing time.
Yeah,
I was super jealous. I totally want to be there.
Yeah, there was, and they did some wild things. I saw that one picture of when a few of them went over to Morocco, to Marrakesh, and there was a picture that Scott posted. It was so wild and actually also, Dave Williams posted, a couple other people posted of these goats in this tree.
Oh my gosh, that was nuts. That was crazy.
Nuts. Like, yeah, I don't know if I can find it.
You look for it. I'll say hi to some people over here because Marn from Utah wrote in here and she said she's always looking forward to Wednesdays, which is very nice of you, Marn. Thank you so much. And Rose Kieran, who we absolutely love from New Zealand, she says, hello, everyone. Looking forward to my weekly fix today. Hey, Rose. Ed says, good evening to y'all from the Netherlands. Hello, Ed. Graham says, hi, everyone from Devon in the UK. What's up, Graham? Rudd says, hello from someplace in the Netherlands that I'm not going to even try to pronounce. No idea. And Gil says, hello from Bucky in Scotland. Gosh, international crowd as per usual.
I'll tell you, I mean, it's awesome to watch the grid like when I was over there. It's awesome to watch the grid at night like that. That's really cool. Neat. This is the picture. That's it. It's so wild, right?
I thought that was a composite. When I saw it, I was like, there's no way.
It's crazy, but there was these goats in the tree. Yeah, there you go.
That's nuts.
So...
and then Helmet says, hi, great to be here. All the best from Hanover in Germany. Well, fantastic. Glad you're here. And there's one other thing that I want to say before, I guess we'll announce the gifts and then we'll take a break and then we'll get into it. The one thing that I was going to say is that, this is for people who are like me, who aren't super techie. Eric this morning was telling me all about all the cameras and the specs and all this stuff, and that is so not really what jazzes me, what lights me up at all.
Yeah, I know, and I'm the one who, I know the specs, and I appreciate the specs, but at the same time, I'm more about the where it's going, the feeling behind it, the what it's doing, the emotion, rather than the tech. But I know the tech. I mean, that's just I just have that disease. I have that gear acquisition syndrome.
I don't have that at all.
Yeah,
He's like, I have this version of this camera and this version, and this version just came out and I have this. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So, but what I'm interested in, and what I bet a lot of you guys are interested in, is basically how this technology is going to impact the photography industry.
Oh, and that's what I'm so excited about.
Absolutely. Because the thing is that it's, like, it's a huge opportunity right now. Huge for photographers, for anybody really that's interested in it. And here's the thing too, if you're somewhat interested, you've kind of seen it. The problem with virtual reality is that people are trying to, I guess the analogy that I heard is that you're trying to sell a color TV on a black and white screen. Unless you've really experienced high quality virtual reality, it's difficult to really understand why it's so amazing and why it's going to change everything.
Yeah, it's almost like right now we're kind of in that, you're still watching like an old TV, like you're talking about. It's like watching standard definition once you've seen 4K, you know. But there's 4K out there in the, well, there's bigger than 4K, but there's that higher resolution out there, and that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My first experience with virtual reality, I was in a Facebook tent. Facebook put up this tent in Bryant Park. We were actually in New York last year filming several classes for KelbyOne. Oh, yeah. And before we went to the airport, I just wandered around in Bryant Park, and they had this big tent, and so I saw, you know, videos that Facebook created.
Yeah, you were seeing like
the top of the top of the top.
5 years from now, normal videos. Yeah.
And it was like, you know, it was like major basketball players on a court, and you see them coming right at you. It was absolutely amazing. It blew my mind. But the thing that really influenced me the most was one scene in that where it was a family, and they were, I don't know what country they're supposed to be in, but they're in, it almost looked like a giant teepee or something, and they were just sitting around eating dinner, and you saw the kids running, and it dawned on me that if you embrace this, it's like you put this on, and it's almost like you were in your living room on Christmas morning when you were a child. Like in the future, that's what people are going to be able to do. They're going to be able to put this on, and it feels like you are there.
It's very, that word is the immersive. It's very, when you experience it at that higher level, it's very immersive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why this is going to be very important in, say, the wedding industry. It's going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine putting this on and seeing your parents' wedding day and feeling like you were there? So this actually, there's a lot of opportunity for photographers. Even though this is video, there's still a lot of opportunity for photographers to take advantage of this and 360 and some other things that we're going to talk about.
I'm doing a lot more with stills with it. I mean, there's definitely a lot of applications for stills as well. I mean, so there's definitely one of those things that it's just a different medium, you know. It's a different medium, and it's a medium that I think some people could add to their arsenal to really differentiate themselves.
Exactly.
So before we dive way into it, we are going to give away a couple things. We have Moose's new book, Take Off, which is basically, if you want to, you know, anything in aviation photography, that's the book. And then we're also giving away a Platypod Max. So this is the big one. You know, there's the Ultra, and then there's the Max. This is the big one that, you know, has all the, you know, for the heavy DSLR, you know, something like that, which we will actually get to that topic
as well,
when we come back. So, yeah, so we'll take a quick break, and then, you know, we'll be right back.
Welcome to How to Critique Your Own Photos. I think this class has the ability to really help you a lot in making sure that when you're evaluating your images that you make the right choices. And I'll explain exactly how we're going to do this so it all makes sense. When you're going to put an image in your portfolio, when you're going to have an image judged for a competition, when you're going to show your image at your photo club, you're going to put it online, you're going to share it with a large group of people that might know if it's a good photo or a bad photo. You want to make sure you got your technical covered first. I'm going to give you like a really good foundation for your images, get you used to critiquing your own photos, and this is going to help your photography and your post-processing in a very, very big way. And I hope this class helps you to do just that.
Hi, I'm Steve Hansen, photographer and director. My transition from chef to photographer started when I was a private chef. I Googled photography training and up came KelbyOne. Learned about how to use a strobe, how to run your business. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That first step for me was KelbyOne.
My name's Tim Wallace. I'm a commercial photographer and I shoot transport all over the world. What we're going to do is I'm going to shoot the runway, we're going to shoot and light the plane, and then we're going to put those two elements together and make a composite. I'm Tim Wallace. Come check out my class on KelbyOne.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod. the world's most compact tripod base.
Anyway,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, so we're in a little sidebar as we're going. It's already the debate's starting, right?
The debates are starting, indeed.
But yeah, no. So how this? I came into your office. We were talking about this topic because it all started from an article that Calibra wrote this week that I read, which me and Calibra are very eye to eye when it comes to the iPhone, the size of cameras. And she wrote this article about why are DSLRs so big and heavy, seriously. And she was just kind of asking the question, and I totally agree with what she's saying. And it got us, got me thinking about, where are we going in photography? And there's certain areas, and VR and 360 and multiple. My big thing, like I told you, was multiple lenses.
This is interesting.
We're getting to multiple lenses, and that's where I definitely think that's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see where we go because we are so used to a single lens. You think a DSLR has the word single in it because it's a single lens. Like now you've got the iPhone with 2 cameras. You've got a lot of smartphones with 2 cameras that are now interpreting depth through the 2 cameras. And then you've got 3D where we have 2 cameras. Now we have cameras, these like the Facebook one has 30 cameras.
Yeah, which
all
is
in arrays, And it's just we're getting past the one lens world inside a camera. And that's what's interesting to me to see where that goes because that's going to change the photography, video, the capturing images game. Because no longer is it going to be reliant on the lens and the depth of field of that single lens and the speed of it. It's gonna. You could see even with the iPhone and where you see it, and we've known about it for years, but now we see the actual application. Is just look at portrait mode on the iPhone. There are people that I could show a portrait mode picture on the iPhone that'll go, there is no way the iPhone took that. They're going, that's a DSLR, that's a professional camera, there's no way. And I'm telling them, I'm having to convince them, no, I shot that with an iPhone 7 Plus.
Right. And we've actually done some testing where we took some decent level point and shoots and then the iPhone, and there were several times that the iPhone blew away the point and shoots. So
yeah, it's very well. And that's the one camera that comes to mind to me, which I have been watching and looking for, and it's not mainstream out yet, is this light camera, where this camera has the form factor of a smartphone, where it's kind of that smaller smartphone running on an Android device with an array of lenses. Basically, what this camera is doing is putting in different focal length lenses to make a picture that has a total you can go from what equivalent to I think 24 millimeters to 105 millimeters, and you can get depth of field throughout that, and you can do the depth of field later. So it's crazy because of the mathematics and how it works and what they're doing with it. It's no longer the technical aspect of photography where you have to know the things like, what's my depth of field, what's my shutter, what's an f-stop, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's like a post thing where you have to know more about composition and lighting and the framing and the gesture and the emotion of the shot than the technical.
Right.
I actually think that's really cool that's where we're going because you can actually see that already. I've seen people getting way more creative with their photography in the last 10 years. Like pushing the envelope where it used to be you had to know the ins and outs and the tricks to make your camera do what it's going to do. It's gone.
Yeah, it really is. It's so true.
Yeah.
And I watched the video on that because he showed this to me this morning and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I let him know I worked with this guy several years ago and he was telling me, the future of photography is that you will have your iPhone and then you'll have like a big lens because you'll need that lens. And he was saying, no, you have to check out this camera. And I watched the video on it, and it had talked about how, you know, in photography, you do need that big lens so it will let in a lot of light. Whereas like the iPhone, the lens here doesn't let in a lot of light. So that's where the DSLRs still are superior to your iPhone. But in that camera, they just, instead of having a giant lens, they just created a whole bunch of different ones. So it actually lets in.
Lengths. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so smart. It's so smart.
But that's this, and then the other company that I've been watching for about 5-6 years is that Lightro company.
Right.
What they were doing with it. Now, Lightro, I think, is going to be more interesting for the cinema,
right?
3D,
very
360,
high end.
That stuff, because of the depth map that it can do and pulling keys and special effects. But if you look at these technologies, it's becoming smaller form factor. It's becoming more lenses, more lenses. And the other thing is more resolution. Like, we're already to the point where 8K is like standard now.
Right.
I mean, 4K is like done. I mean, 4K is like everybody that has an iPhone in the last year and a half has 4K.
Right.
You know, so
which speaks
everybody.
To Johan's question. He said, a question to Erik: is 4K really the future?
No, I think 16K is probably the future. I mean, and actually for 360, that's where 16K will be the future. Facebook's doing those 2 8K images, I mean, to get to 16K. So, and you really need that when you start getting into immersive technology, because you think about it, you're spreading the image over a 360 degree, I mean, it's basically 360 degrees in every angle. So no longer is it, you know, a 50-inch screen in front of you. It's you have a screen that goes around you.
Right, exactly.
So resolution becomes key.
Very much so. And this is the first camera that I got. It does 360 and VR, and it's the Insta360 Nano. And this is 3K. And like I was saying before, I mean, I don't think the quality is that great. And
at 3K, it's just getting to that, like you were talking about, like the older. But you still see the application. You have to look past that.
Exactly.
And go, we are going to get to 8K. We are going to get to 16K. So what's going to happen then? And
the thing with this is that, okay, now I'm dipping my feet into it. And this is very affordable. This is under $200. I think it's $189. So now I get to play around with it. So I compare this to what Polaroid photos were in the past. You know, they're blurry, they're not sharp. You compare it to our images today that we can get on our iPhone, and it's nostalgic, and you look at that and you go, oh my gosh, that was taken forever ago. So that's what this is going to be, in my opinion. You know, this kind of like, it's the entry that you can go in there, but the quality is not fantastic, and it's 3K. So the next one that you have,
I just got the Insta360 One, which is basically the evolution of that one. It's standalone, but it also plugs into your iPhone. But what I love about that one is it is standalone. I actually had, for a while, was using the heck out of the Theta S, which I had the Theta S, which I was using. And now they have a new Theta V, which Insta360 One and Theta V, it's kind of, I would put that in the prosumer level. It's not like the one you have is kind of in that entry level. It's that entry level. This one prosumer, and then there's that step up, and then there's the Nokia
Pro.
Makes like a $70,000 one. I mean, that's just like way up there.
I have that on pre-order.
Yeah. No.
Just waiting for it to arrive.
Me too. So. But with something like that, that one does 4K video, so you get the 4K. But what's interesting about that one is it does 22 megapixel raw still images, which is what I wanted it for. You know, was doing 22 megapixel raw images, so I can take a raw image, retouch it, you know, do something with it in 360. Yeah. So, and you know, I mean, it's not totally there yet, but it's pretty, I mean, it's getting pretty good. And I think if people start playing around with it now, you'll be at the forefront of something that's just coming out.
Exactly. And that's what's key. The key is just to get started, because I am telling you, this is going to be huge. I mean, it's going to take over so many different industries. Not only will it impact photography, especially, you know, wedding photographers, family photographers, it will impact, you know, of course, and already has the gaming industry, tourism, real estate. Can you imagine, like,
well, real estate, it's becoming almost a mainstream anymore.
Yeah. You want to check out a house and you put this on and you could walk through the house. I mean, it's just...
we were doing that back in the day. Remember QuickTime, you had QuickTime virtual tours, and that was really
where you
old
drag
technology.
the mouse around or whatever.
But now you look at home listings and they're all over the place. Like people are using 360 or just stitching. I mean, the other thing is if you have a DSLR, you can shoot 360. You know, you can just take and stitch together a pano that's all the way around and all the way up and down and make a 360. It's painstaking.
I think
but
there,
you can do
there
it.
are apps, there are programs for that
definitely.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, one's called Photoshop.
Okay, there one specifically. You just load it in and press the button and it goes.
No, you can do it with a lot of stuff. It's really cool. Like, and you can edit video with Premiere. You can edit 360 video with Premiere.
Right, which is interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you can totally do. You can do stereoscopic with Premiere. You can do all this stuff with Premiere.
Which that's incredible. They're early adopters themselves.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, we had a couple questions here, you know, so like Juan Perez was saying any tutorials about VR. Not yet, but again, this is getting into an emerging thing that we're really looking into, and I think that there's definitely things that I have learned over the year,
right?
Yeah, it's interesting to coming from a video background that I have. I am so used to 2 dimensions, and I'll actually, you know, because he doesn't want to ever come on camera. I'll throw Juan under the bus here too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Juan remembers this, but when I first got my 360 camera, and I'm taking video and stills with it, I handed it to Juan, and I was like, "Hey Juan, check this thing out." And you know what Juan did?
Oh no, what?
He held it up and he started spinning around because it's just natural for us to start moving with a video camera.
Right.
But when you're shooting 360, you never have to move.
Right.
So it blows you have to like take your preconceived notions and like throw them out the window.
It's true.
Like the other thing, and I think I was talking to you about it, I've realized that you always want to position, and this is a tip for anybody doing 360 or VR, so you always want to position the camera where a human being's eyes could be. So for example, if I was positioned in this 360 camera right now, I'd either have it in this seat where I would be, or I'd have it like out there where the audience would be. I wouldn't put it in the middle of the table. No human's gonna sit. I mean, I guess a dog, if you were doing like a dog that was sitting on the table, you could do that. But you have to think like that, of put it where somebody's eyes are gonna be, rather than putting it where an interesting angle. Like when you walk into an office, you know, if I was shooting, we were talking about this morning, we were shooting you in, you know, if you're in your office, I'm probably gonna do an over the shoulder shot, and then I'm gonna maybe to establish we're in the office, and then we're gonna do a close on the computer. It's like we wouldn't do that. I would position the camera where we would sit, where I would sit to talk to you in the office, because that's where 360 would happen. It would be where people can see. And that's a big mistake I made in the beginning, because I'm a videographer. Right. So I'm thinking angles, low, high, and it just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
It works really well in a drone if you take it up and you act like you're a bird.
Yeah.
And I've seen Russell Brown do some crazy stuff with that. And that's one, if you ever need to follow anybody for inspiration, Russell Brown from Adobe, I mean, he's doing some crazy stuff with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked for that earlier when you said that. I didn't see it. We're gonna have to figure out where that is so we can let people know.
I'll definitely show it to you. I mean, he's doing some cool stuff just with iPhones and with that kind of stuff in general. He's doing some really cool stuff.
But to speak to his point, yeah, definitely don't. I guess it's just a whole different ball game. You know, you can't use a lot of the same skills in the same way that you shoot normal video with 3D or 360. I'm sorry, 360. Because I actually did that with VR, and I had this camera and I was using it, and I got up and moved, and then when I was watching the video, I felt sick. Like, you have to be very careful.
Well, you have to walk with the camera like you're, again, like you're a human. You have to walk with it like you can't, you got to walk with it on the side of you rather than in front of you, because nobody would be walking right in front of you.
Right.
So they'd be walking beside you.
And that's what I did. I went, oh, look at my dog.
Yeah.
Did
like,
that.
It's like, it's like you're falling over.
Exactly. It was not fun. I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but those are the kind of things you just got to think outside the box. It's going to be interesting. But if you're doing that now, you're going to get ahead of the game. You're going to get to where, you know, you're going to differentiate yourself. So we had a couple of questions, like, you know, somebody was asking, or Cheeky Nando was asking, do we really need more pixels? For most users, I don't think so. We need more dynamic range. We need less noise. For still images, you're right. I mean, we don't need any more pixels.
Correct.
I mean, again, the 12K images, or the 12 megapixel images out of the iPhone, I don't think anybody notices. I mean, you got to think 10 years ago, the most expensive $7,000 every pro was using DSLR had 12 megapixels.
Right.
And that was like, well, we're never going to need any more.
Right.
And now we're shooting with 50, 100 megapixels.
Oh my gosh.
But where it does change is that 360.
That's the key. That's the difference.
Yes.
Yes.
That's really what, like,
that's where you need the extra.
If you think about it, you're stitching a bunch of 12K images around, and that's where you need the resolution up to, you know, where you can, you know, get way up there. So.
And then Sherry says, not me, I'm staying with my SLR forever. I'm tired of all this new stuff I got up. And the prices are just ridiculous. It's out of control. So obviously you can do that. You can. But that's kind of the equivalent of someone saying, I am not going to shoot with a digital camera. I'm going to stick with my film camera. I actually saw that. I worked with some, you know, very high-level professional photographers in the commercial world, and a lot of them waited a while to switch over to digital. And guess what? All these like young new photographers stepped in, and they would deliver the images to like the magazine or wherever. I mean, the next day or something, where they were used to waiting with film a week or two. So it's like all these people just started taking over. And of course, it was more convenient for the editors and people like that. So at some point, they just had to adapt, and they just had to get with it. So again, it's completely your choice. We still have some very amazing photographers that shoot with film.
That's what, there's definitely, you know, DSLRs are not going to go away. But I do think that more and more technology, or more and more of content, will move towards immersive technology. And you'll have less and less content moving towards 2D. It's like,
I agree,
how many
100%.
movies are shot in black and white anymore?
Exactly.
Not that many. Can you? Do some people do? Absolutely. And that's okay. But you're just not going to see the masses are going to move away from that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And right now, what all these companies want is they want content that's different than everyone else's content.
Well,
so these are simple ways to do that.
What Facebook just announced, I don't know if I have it here, but yeah, Facebook just announced this today. The Oculus Go, did you see that? $100 or $200. But basically, it's a $200 headset, you know, and it looks really pretty cool, you know. Nice. Where the Oculus Rift was kind of little pricey for people, the Oculus Go is going to be interesting, you know. So that was just announced today, you know, and Facebook's putting a bunch of money into that.
Facebook is the leader.
Yeah.
They're the absolute leader. They're the ones that are jumping in with everything they have.
Yeah. Well, Johan was asking in 10 years' time, will we still need programs like Photoshop and Lightroom, or will they be replaced with VR programs? Thoughts? I honestly think that you're just going to see VR, 360, immersive technologies come into the apps.
Integrated, right.
That's like, a lot of people don't know about Premiere. It's been in there for a few years now.
That's nuts.
There's only a few of us that were playing in there where we actually know that you can do that, but it's in there. Like, everybody's copy of Premiere can edit that stuff. You know, and it's just going to be, and that's where, when we get more of these out there, more people will realize, oh, it's already built into my software. I can already do it. So I could see where Photoshop, Lightroom, they're going to have that ability inside the application. Agreed.
But then also, if you think about it, you still need photos to hang on your wall. You know, like, they're still going to be valuable. I mean, there's just going to be this other thing that comes into play as well.
Well, that's what's interesting about even like this camera that I have now, and actually that one does it as well, where you can take snapshots from the 360. So you can actually frame up a shot from within the shot. So you know, that's where resolution matters, because as you take a snapshot of a 22 megapixel image. Now you're only down to a 4 megapixel image.
I see.
But as we get more resolution, it's going to change, you know. But yeah, that's been interesting for me to see. Like, I can go in there and like I'll see a frame from a shot, and then I'm like, that's really cool. And I can actually just take a snapshot of that, and it'll export that as just a JPEG. You know, so I can have just the JPEG of that frame.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So.
David Good says, I'll wait for 32K. All right.
Yeah.
Silly. Rose says, love some more iPhone classes.
I'd love some too.
Good
I love
to know.
my iPhone.
I know, right? Honestly, it's fantastic.
That's my main camera.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should show everybody what the 361 can do with the spinning it around the bullet.
Oh yeah,
thing.
that's pretty cool. I have been afraid to do this up until this point.
But again, if you're a photographer,
but yeah, it does this where I don't know if you can see it on my screen.
You're putting
you got
images
this bullet
out there.
camera where you can take and you can attach a cable with a
string or wire.
A string, but then it's got a tripod mount obviously on it. So and then you're swinging it around, and as you're swinging it around, it's creating almost like a bullet camera effect. Remember the Matrix? You know, they had
right.
where it's almost creating a bullet camera effect. And again, I just haven't. I just got it like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance or the guts to do it yet.
You should hand it to your daughter. Your daughter will do it.
Oh yeah, my daughter will do it, but it's
she has
probably
no
flying.
problem just swinging around.
Yeah.
But the thing is for photographers who we're always looking for content. We're always looking for some way to stand out. And if you put something like that on social media,
like if you had that, like think about wedding, right? And you're at the end of the wedding, and they're doing that confetti or the sparklers, and you told the couple, just swing this around your head. I'm telling you, they're gonna go. It's gonna go crazy on the internet. They're gonna post that on Instagram or Facebook, and it's gonna go nuts.
And that's the opportunity that we're talking about right now.
That's what you and I are seeing. There, you're like, well, I understand we're not gonna give up our DSLRs right now,
right?
Or I'm not gonna give up my iPhone right now. But there will be. This is definitely playing. It's gonna play in the game.
Absolutely.
And when you show people that, they're kind of like, wow.
Yes.
Like we were out at the photo walk this weekend, and Hilmar has the same one you have. And she's taking a shot. And, you know, there's 50, everybody's got a DSLR. 50 people around. And she takes this image, and she shows everybody, and everybody's like, wow, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. You did that from your phone? With that little thing, like everybody, when you see it, they're all like, wow,
right,
that's cool.
Exactly. And that's the thing, if you're a wedding photographer or say a family photographer or something, and you do that, exactly what you said, you ask them, spin it around, you can see the whole wedding party.
I can totally
and
see
they
that.
Post that on Facebook. Guess what? You're gonna get a lot of attention.
It's gonna go nuts.
It will go nuts. And also another thing too is that if you take a little bit of VR at a wedding, right? You take it, you just set up your iPhone, you just take a little bit here and there, and then you're a wedding photographer and you go to one of those expos where you're trying to get a lot of business. And you set this up here and you say, who would like to take a look at this footage that I offer in my highest package? Maybe you get an assistant to come there, or maybe you just set it up on a tripod.
Well, weddings or events, I could definitely see an application for, especially weddings and events, is one seat in the middle of the ceremony could be a VR seat.
Exactly.
It literally could. And anybody who couldn't make it to the wedding, and if you're selling that as an addition to your package, that's going to differentiate you.
That is exactly the opportunity here. And say in your biggest package, you offer that, and then you also give them, you know, one of these, which this costs like under $40 exactly on Amazon. I mean, these are the things that will make a huge impact on people. And this cost me $189, and this cost me under $40. So you're not putting a ton of money in, but you can completely stand out from the rest.
Oh yeah, it's very cool.
And imagine yourself at an expo with all these people coming around wanting to see your footage. I mean, it just draws attention to you.
Yep. Stephanie's asking, I'm liking this 360 Insta. What model does Jen have? She has the Nano.
I do.
So there's the Nano, there's the one, and then there's the one that both of us want. That's the Air.
The
Pro.
The $3,500 one.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be cool.
Yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
But honestly, if you're gonna buy one, I would buy that one because it is 4K instead of 3K, and I'm telling you, like, I'm not crazy about
Well, that extra quality, is really big in VR.
It really is. It makes a big difference, and you can do that shot. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to see where it's going to go.
It really is.
I know, we're just geeking out over it, but it's just cool to see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I totally get it. Like, yeah, it's one other thing to be concerned about, and it's like, oh, why do we have another thing? But it really is cool.
It's opportunity.
And there's going to be demand for it.
Absolutely.
Big time.
Actually, I was doing research about potentially us doing a class on VR. And there's already a company, I think they're based in New York, and it's VR for weddings, VR wedding videography. That's all they do, just the videography, and it's all VR.
I mean, if you had a few of these things recording at an event, just 2 of them, 3 of them. I mean, even at a sporting event or something, like, you really could do some cool stuff. Like the Olympics, this last Olympics, which was what, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, was all shot with 360. And people didn't know that.
Yeah.
But Samsung did it. And I remember watching it going, this is how a lot of people are. The Pittsburgh Steelers this year offered a season ticket package in VR. So they have seats in their stadium that you can go on and watch the game like you're sitting in the best seats in the house.
That's so interesting.
Because you are sitting in the best seats in the house because they put the cameras in the best seats of the house.
Yep.
Cool. Huh?
So cool. It's
cool.
just nuts.
Well, we got to take a break.
Yes, we do.
We got to take a break.
That's been up there for a little while now.
Yeah. We get talking about a topic and it just goes.
That's right. Well, we'll see you back here in a couple minutes.
All right.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. My name is Serge Remedy. I'm a French photographer living in Los Angeles. And in this class for KelbyOne, I'm going to show you my full workflow on cityscapes. I've been shooting cityscape for 13 years. I'm going to show you my best secrets on how to take the photos, at what time of the day you should take the photo, how to compose them, how to play around with frame-in-a-frame, leading lines, foreground, middle ground, background elements to really forward a message that's very strong. We're going to do some HDR on a single RAW file. We're going to do some sky replacements. We're going to do a lot of panoramas. This class is going to take your cityscape to the next level. So check out my class only on KelbyOne.com.
Hey everybody, Scott Kelby here. It's Friday night, Under the Lights football, and you're about to learn how to conquer this with a legend of football photography. This is Dave Black.
Scott, thanks for having me here at the game and for this class. There are a lot of problems shooting under the lights in football, and we're going to kind of give you those solutions for those and conquer those problems. The white balance, how to figure that out when you get under the lights. What lenses to use, length lenses, and what aperture to use. And positioning yourself on the field. Where's the best place to be strategically to get the most out of this game? Wait for that athlete to fill up that frame so that you get a shot that just knocks people's socks off.
It's an amazing night, taped live at a real high school football game, and it's exclusively here at KelbyOne.
Hey folks, Christy from Shark Pixel here, and I'm thrilled to be bringing you a brand new class all on retouching wedding images. You're gonna learn things like how to remove that terrible strapless dress issue that so many brides have. We're gonna be removing specific elements from images. I'm gonna teach you how to remove hard elements from an image and easier elements from an image. And then at the end, we're gonna take care of those terrible tan lines and sunburns. So check out my new class only on KelbyOne.com. This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Westcott, professional photo and lighting equipment.
And we're back in 2 dimensions.
That's right.
In 2 dimensions. But yeah, so, well, I took a shot, or so I did take a shot from this, and I think Meredith can show people, because like, this is, so I have my phone in here in the headset, and you can actually see as I move it, it moves. And it's a stereoscopic image, so there's one on this side and one on that side. And, you know, so this is like a picture that I took beforehand. So I see it
as
if it's 360. And oh, there I am.
Yeah.
And there's the grid set. And you can go all around. And so it's really cool because you can see it, and as you're looking at it, to you, it's almost three-dimensional. Now, it's not three-dimensional in the sense that this camera only shoots 2 lenses and they're not stereoscopic, so it's not three-dimensional. But they are getting to the point with these where they do have 3 dimensions. Like the Pro version of this has lenses offset about the distance of your eye. So you start getting into that 3-dimensional stereoscopic. And then like the creme de la creme is like the Facebook one where it's 30 cameras all set in synchronous to somebody's eye. So when you look at it through a headset like that, you not only see the image, but you see in 3 dimensions, almost like, you know, when you watch a 3D movie when you put glasses on, because you're actually seeing as if you were in there. And that's kind of the evolution. Like this is still, and like even that image, it's just, it doesn't really show what the camera can do because we're in a very dark studio.
Right.
And it's kind of like, these cameras are kind of like the iPhone and all that stuff. They don't work well in lower light yet, but it's interesting to see where the technology will go, you know? And I don't know if I show you like a comparison. I don't know if you could see like, I don't know. Well, here's one from like my,
the wedding?
This is from the wedding. This is me sitting down at the wedding. So like, I was sitting in my seat. You know, and I could pan around. Oh, there's the photographer that was shooting the wedding. There he is. And there's the wedding. Oh, there I am. Oh, and there's my brother-in-law. There's my mom. Yeah, we're just waiting. My daughter's somewhere out there in the abyss. So, but yeah, so you can see like you can really start getting very immersive with it. And kind of relive those moments. And then when you go to the video, it gets really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. But like you said, it's the resolution still.
It really is.
It's good, but when we get to 8K, it's going to get really good, which is where those pro level cameras are. And then when we get even farther, it'll get really, really good.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning that in that Facebook tent where if you guys ever see a Facebook tent showing virtual reality, just go in. I had to wait in line. It was absolutely worth it. But they did, they did a whole bunch of different scenarios. And I think the last one, you were up in space. It was simulated that you're up in space. And I am not someone that is afraid of heights. But just letting you know, these super high quality cameras, these $40,000, $60,000 cameras, they create this world that feels real. And they actually made everyone hold onto the handrail, because when you look down, you feel like you're about to
sick, huh?
you feel like you're about to fall. You're like, how am I floating in space? It is amazing. So we'll get there. Right now we have this,
and that's what 5 years.
Yeah,
we will get there in 5 years. This will be, in fact, the technology is in these, the ones we have. I could see it going into smartphones within 2 years.
Absolutely.
They'll be in smartphones 2 years, because it is almost like the ultimate selfie. Because if you think about it, I could take an image like there when I was on my I was like on my vacation or at a wedding. Like I could take a picture, and it's me. But not only that, I can show everybody where I was. You know, because a lot of times it's hard to show everybody you in context of the place. Because now what do? We take this selfie and we're like kind of, where's the mountain behind me?
Right,
let me get out of the way of it. Like, you don't have to do that. You put the mountain in front of you, you take the picture, everybody could just flip the camera around and they see the mountain that you were seeing, but then you were there. Like, it's the ultimate selfie. That's what I call 360. It's like the ultimate selfie.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, and that's why those things are so cool.
And especially, for the younger generation growing up, I mean, once these get adopted into our phones and it's just kind of like an everyday thing, I mean, this is just what they're going to be used to. I mean, it's crazy. And you were even talking about the Kickstarter campaigns that have the sunglasses that adopted these cameras as well. And so
it's like a sunglass that it has a lens on each corner and a lens on the back, and it's sunglasses that you wear when you're out just walking around or traveling, and you can actually get immersed into wherever you're at. Snapchat had the Snapchat glasses, right? this is like the evolution where it's actually immersive.
Yeah,
Snapchat's like, you know, you just get like a quick 10 seconds of the angle that you're at. This is actually going to show you 360 degrees of wherever you're at.
Which is interesting because it's almost like, it's like you're getting a glimpse into what it's like being that person, like living their life. Like whether you're walking down the streets of New York City and you're seeing what reaction people are giving this person, or you're out doing some
in
crazy
the North
adventure.
Pole, you know, you're just out in Greenland or something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And when we stream this stuff live too, I mean, it's just, there's no end in sight. It's just, it's really interesting.
So some questions. So Sue Sanders asking, what is the tripod? This actually is it's a selfie stick that I just modified into a 360 thing, where I took and it had the attachment for a tripod adapter, and then this is just a little ring. And the reason I actually use this, it extends up, which is nice, because that way it doesn't get in the shot. The one thing about tripods is the tripod legs will start getting in your 360 shots.
Right.
So it's good to, and the best thing to use, and we're all photographers, is a light stand. Because you attach this to a light stand, you want the camera to be straight up and down anyways. You don't want it at an angle. Just put it on a light stand anywhere. Put a, you know, because when it has that small footprint on the bottom, it's easy to kind of clone out what's down there.
Right.
When you have a tripod with these legs really wide spread out, you're going to get these tripod legs when people look down. So that's just like a quick tip for people.
Well, also when I was looking at videos on that one, I saw a video of a guy who had the selfie stick, and it erased the selfie stick. So
yeah, it has a mode to erase the selfie stick. Yeah.
So you can't, I mean, you see his hand kind of sticking out there, but you can't see the selfie stick. So it looks like someone else is holding the camera. And, you know,
so, and David's saying what we were saying. So Adobe's already started to include VR editing in programs. Absolutely. I mean, they're already, it's just going to become part of the editing life.
Yep. And Rose says, gee, it will be worth selling my house to buy all these gadgets. Such fun. I'm mesmerized today. The thought of learning all this new stuff excites me. Awesome, Rose.
Awesome. And that's all we're trying to do is just kind of expose people to here's what's out there, and here's what's interesting to us.
Exactly.
You know?
Now
I mean, still into, you know, 99.9% of the stuff I do is two-dimensional images. I'm wanting to move more. Like, I even realized this trip when I came back, I was like, I wish I would have put that, you know, the two other cameras down 25-30% more and picked up the VR camera more. Just because it just, when you get back, it's like, that was cooler.
Yeah, you know? I totally hear you. And I've been the same way. I bought this several months ago, but so far I have, you know, footage of, I did get my family, my whole family got together, so I got all of them, which is fantastic. But then I have a lot of video of me walking around my house, you know? Yeah. So I am actually about to go to a virtual reality conference in about a week and a half. PPE,
yeah, that should be cool.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be 3 days of just class after class after class about learning about this, and the people who are on the forefront. So I'm really excited about it. PPE, which is coming up, it's the same conference. It's like you have to buy a separate pass for the virtual reality, and it's at the exact same time as PPE.
Oh, cool.
So I actually can't go to PPE and any of the photography classes because I'm going to
you're just going
reality.
all in on the VR.
All in on VR. I had to pick, really. So.
Which, honestly, if I had to pick nowadays, that's what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. But after that, so same deal. You know, I have this kind of like boring footage, and I really want to get something neat. So after that conference, I set up a shoot. So, you know, about 3 weeks, I'm going to start posting some stuff where it's actually like produced.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really neat stuff. So
it really is.
Rami is asking, or Rami's just making a comment on, there's only so much resolution your eyes can possibly handle. Don't forget. Totally. Yeah. The one, that's the thing with DSLRs or still image cameras, two-dimensional cameras, single lens. There is a limitation,
right?
You know, unless you're going to print something out huge and need this resolution to have enough pixels to print it. There's no reason.
There's no reason.
That's why it's crazy that we're getting these cameras that are so high resolution.
Right.
However, you have to understand with virtual reality, with 360, the resolution is there because of the immersive space that you're having to cover.
Right.
Because not only that, you think about if you're going to do stereoscopic, so three-dimensional you have to do twice the resolution of whatever the resolution is. So if you're shooting, you have to shoot 8K for the right eye, 8K for the left eye. You have to shoot 4K for the right eye, 4K for the left eye. So you're already doubling it up right there. So that's where you start getting into these resolution concerns.
Right. So don't let the talk about resolution freak you out, because we're not talking about just your stills. We're not talking about that. Like, we are talking about 360 and virtual reality, totally different ballpark. And if you haven't played around with it or seen like really high quality versions of it yet, like, it's tough to get your mind around it.
Yeah. So Cheeky Nando's asking, what's the recommended device to start playing with 360 technologies? I would say that we're all photographers, so quality does matter. I wouldn't recommend the ones in that low tier, like the ones that are built for the smartphones, like the Samsung Gear VR or something like that. I would probably say to go step up to one of this type models,
right? And
like
I would
where
say
you're at, or where that one is, or even so there's the Theta V, which just came out, which is a great camera too. It's just way more expensive than the Insta360
How much is the Theta?
The Theta S is a little more affordable than the Insta360. The only thing about that one is it shoots 1080p video, which is really, really low.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's almost unusable.
Right.
It just kind of shows you could use it. So I would just recommend, like, check out Insta360, check out Ricoh and their Theta line. There's other ones out there. I've looked at the other ones, like Kodak makes one, Nikon has one now. I've looked at the other ones. The Ricoh and the Insta360 are probably in my opinion, the leaders in the quality in that price range.
Right.
Then if you want to step up from there, you can step up from there. But if you're asking to start playing with it, it'd be somewhere in those. I actually had that one. That one was great.
Yeah.
It was just I wanted that 4K. I wanted that little extra.
And that's it, Fernando. I would say, because I have the Insta360 Nano, and I would say to get the Insta360 One, I would say just start there, because it's 4K, and you can do that cool.
Well, you could do 20. That one's 12 megapixels, and that one's 22 megapixels.
I mean, that's great. It's worth it for the extra $100.
And that one shoots raw, which is nice too if you're, if you're into tuning your images like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
that's where I would start out for sure. And we're gonna have like a community post on this or something when everyone starts testing this out, because it'd be really fun to see what other people are doing, and I want to see people's work and what they do with it.
Johan's asking, how far will technology bring us? For medium format cameras now, 100 megapixels is available. Will we ever see that on a DSLR? Are no mirrors in camera the future? Honestly, I think that's where it is. It's kind of where he's going. Is you don't know where it's. You don't know where the technology is going. I think like the comment before about resolution, there's only so much resolution.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure resolution is like the thing to aspire to.
And that's it. I agree with you 100%. And we were talking about a 100 megapixel image. The only people that need an image of that quality are commercial photographers that are going to potentially have billboards. Yeah, you don't even need that. Like, what we have right now is sufficient. So an average, photographer, it's like your computer can't handle that. Storage gets more expensive. You don't really want something that big. You really don't. There's no reason for it.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. Yeah, but I do think that will be a point when we don't have mirrors in our cameras, when we don't have lenses to switch, that we will just have virtual focal lengths.
Like a button to.
Like it will be. I mean, it's crazy if you look at portrait mode on the iPhone. If you look at that and you're like, wow, if that's today, what's 2020? What's 2025?
Yep.
I mean, now they have the new ones, that portrait lighting. I don't know. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have
on
seen
iPhone?
that. Yeah.
I haven't seen it like in practice, but it's starting to get into computer programming to manipulate the image.
Right.
But again, you go back to, it's going to rewind to the people that are going to be pushing the limits in the photography once these technologies come out are going to be the creative people. They're going to be the people that are concerned about the frame and the lighting. It's like when Scott does a critique, it's usually like, well, your horizon line's crooked, your background's got something distracting in it, the lighting's flat. You know, it's gonna be more about the composition, the frame, the emotion in the shot than it will be about the technical, like you didn't expose this right because you didn't know your camera settings.
Exactly.
Like it won't become an issue.
So our photography skills that we as a community have learned will become even more valuable going forward because the playing field will be a little bit more level when this comes into our iPhones. It already has, quite frankly.
Matt's asking an interesting question, Matt the Wombat here, but how do those virtual lenses handle compression? I think it will be in the same way that we can handle film stock and fake lens blur, in that what's going to happen is they're going to look at compression and be able to apply compression through through programming, basically, and be able to mimic other things. Now, I'm not saying, like we were talking about, I think there still are going to be the people that I shoot on film. That's what I do. I shoot with a Polaroid. That's what I do. I want the camera from 50 years ago because the way the bokeh looks on the, you know, that's just what I want.
Right.
And that's cool. I'm just saying for the masses, it will become where it'll be a button on the back of the touch screen or the virtual implant in your mind that controls it or something.
Now you're going away.
Yeah, but it's going to be something like that.
No, yeah. And so I guess it's moving away from getting it right in camera and then into...
Oh boy, I don't want to get in that debate.
I know, it's going to make a lot of people mad, but there's a purists that want to get it right in camera, but then going forward, a lot of it's going to be done in post with using software.
The purists will do that, but the masses will not. Yes,
right, exactly.
I think the masses would rather just get the shot and then mess around with it later.
Exactly.
I think this is what the masses are going to do. The purists, yeah, I totally get it. Totally get it. So, hey, look at that, Karen Kuna. That's my mom. Says hi.
Hi, Miss Kuna.
Yeah, so she said where she's in the doldrums of now coming back from that. We were on this big trip.
Was she in that photo?
Yeah, she was in that photo. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. So.
Well, do you have anything else? It's 5:03.
Hey, let's end it on time. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
good.
good.
So yeah, but we do need to tell them on the contest.
Yes.
So to enter the contest, you just go to
KelbyOne.com/contest.
KelbyOne.com/contest. You go on there, and so Meredith's got it pulled up there. You go to grid. You put in your name. You tell us what you want to win. We are giving away the Platypod Max and the Moose Peterson book. Just tell us which one you want. There is no international restrictions on this week's episode.
Fantastic.
So no matter where you are, you can get either one. So no problem.
We'll ship it to you.
And yeah, and then next week, Scott will be back. In fact, Scott's flying back right now. I don't know if he's back exactly yet, but he's flying back right now.
Yeah.
So. Well, I would have loved to see if we could try to get him in again like we did last week.
Oh, that would have been great.
Because Ron fixed the little glitch that we had last week. But, well, we'll have to try it sometime. I'm sure somebody will be remote.
And let's see. This week we have a class that's out by Tim Wallace, compositing class, which should be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
If you're into that.
That's a really cool class because he does composite an airplane, but it totally applies to anybody who's doing compositing. And that's where, you know, like the class, like, is so cool about, like, if you're just into composites, like, he does a really good job about putting this thing against this thing all in the same scene. And we have the files there that you guys can download and that you could work on it along with Tim. So that'll be really fantastic. And also another thing, next week we should have Justin Wojak on here. He's fantastic. I mean, you guys know him. He's a wedding photographer, and he got into video because he kept getting so many requests. So it'll be interesting to talk to him about this. Yeah, I wonder what he'll think about this.
And he is doing a class on basically video for photographers. So if you're interested in breaking into video, maybe not yet, you know, 360 and virtual reality, but just video in general, he's doing a very comprehensive class on that. And in addition to that, this is so great. I talked to him this morning, and he actually created a post on the community asking people what they want to learn in this class. So if you are interested in video, isn't that great? I mean, that's fantastic. So if you want to put your input in there, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining us this week. And like we said, join us back next week. Scott should be here, and hopefully we'll have Justin here.
Yep.
And if you guys have any questions, KelbyOne members, we could totally pop into the forum if you guys, want to ask any questions. You have anything about the gear.
Or you want to post your own footage?
Yeah, or to get any feedback or anything. We're learning it just like everybody else is learning it. So it's definitely one of those things where we want to help each other get to that point where we're happy with it. So
definitely.
Cool.
Well, thank you
guys. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Tamron, professional photographic lenses.